It's been 5 years since Andrea Iannone was in MotoGP, but today, he's back. And he's back with the VR46 Pertamina Enduro Ducati team, replacing Fabio Di Giannantonio. We will once again ride with Andrea Iannone in Sepang. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will see how well we can do with the Maniac here in Sepang. First and foremost, massive thank you to SirChioXXIII for making the helmet and the number to make this video possible. Let's crack on. So here we go then, let's see how we can get on with Andrea Iannone from the back of the grid. And away we go then. It's not a bad start, much better than my career mode starts with the Honda as we get really close to the rear tyre of another Honda there in the form of Taka Nakagami. And on the brakes, calmly and gently going in to the first corner. It's going to get messy here like we've seen at the weekend. Jack Miller getting caught up with Brad Binder and Fabio Quartararo. Luckily no one's injured or battered going into turn 2 this time. And we're able to start. Oh, someone did go down. I think that might have been Fabio Quartararo after all. Hopefully not. Now I did actually record the gameplay for this before Malaysia actually occurred in MotoGP, and well, to be honest, I had predictions which are pretty much out of date now, so what I'm doing is basically just redoing the commentary again for you here today and to discuss a few things about the Sepang International Circuit race weekend, which was absolutely brilliant as we try and sneak up on the inside of Frankie Morbidelli. A relatively clean manoeuvre, if I do say so myself. As we now bring on the power. One thing I will tell you though is when I played this, is I thoroughly enjoyed using the Ducati again. I've had a couple of video ideas recently. I've used the Yamaha with Fabio Quartararo. I tried a KTM as well for another video with Brad Binder. And getting back to the Ducati has been pure delirium. This bike is terrific in MotoGP 24. Of course it would be, it makes sense. It's one of the best bikes in the game, GP23 Ducati, which is probably the second best bike on the grid as well. I actually made myself jump there. I wasn't expecting Jack Miller or to see him on the right-hand side of the screen there. But let's just quickly talk about the purpose of this video today. It was Andrea Iannone back in, filling the boots of Fabio Di Giannantonio, who's actually just 2 positions ahead of us on the track here. Andrea Iannone straight back into it after 4 years of absence. He looked fantastic out there this weekend. Of course, he wasn't up there to where his usual standards where he was back in the Premier class of MotoGP, but to only be a couple of seconds off the pace compared to some of the biggest and best riders in MotoGP is absolutely incredible. He's still very much a talent that belongs in MotoGP, clearly. His fastest lap time at the weekend was about a second quicker than it was when he last arrived here. Yes, the bikes have improved, but he still improved himself, which is the crazy thing as we try and outbrake Maverick Vinales into the right hander of turn 4. Maverick tries to go back. Not happening. So one of the biggest things I wanted to talk about here today was in my predictions video, which would have been this one with Andrea Iannone, of course. I honestly expected this one to be a completely different thing here this weekend in Malaysia. The fact that Pecco Bagnaia crashed in the sprint was not on my bingo cards. Not a chance I expected that to happen, and of course we're coming up to that corner now actually, which is the clear corner of turn 9. That absolutely caught me by surprise, and in fact we've just seen Pecco Bagnaia sneak up on the inside of Marc Marquez to take the lead for first place, and of course both of those had offs this weekend. Marquez crashing at the end of the final corner, not that far into the race, a couple of laps in. And then, of course, Pecco Bagnaia just proving how good he was and responding in pure strength and fashion in the full featured race. But the sprint is the absolute massive talking point about MotoGP this weekend. I anticipated Pecco Bagnaia to win the sprint and the race and just to send it all down as a final crescendo in MotoGP's 2024 season in a Spanish track. Of course, it was not confirmed at the time where we would be racing again, but it does seem very likely it will be the Circuit de Barcelona, which will be the final round of the season in MotoGP, which is an interesting one. Pecco Bagnaia is very strong there, and so is Jorge Martin, but getting back to the point I was trying to make is that I did not expect Bagnaia to crash in the sprint and basically gift the championship almost wrapped, almost signed and sealed to Jorge Martin. Never expected that in a million years. And then, of course, bouncing back in the race was just terrific. We do have a championship still alive, not by many points, but it's still alive going in to the final round of Barcelona. But before we continue to our conversation regarding the wonderful performance of the weekend and how the championship stands, can we just say, with Andrea Iannone right now, my first time with the GP23 for ages, we're doing very well. We're actually on the back of the rider which could potentially be world champion next time out, or which will guarantee a champion, has just now been beaten by Andrea Iannone. Granted, it's DrAce controlling this virtual Andrea Iannone, but it's working out well at this point here on lap 3. And this is not one of my strongest tracks. I am not that particularly great here in the Sepang International Circuit. If anything, it's probably my worst track. I am not good at this circuit. And we're looking rather good. There's Brad Binder, of course, didn't finish in the featured race after the collision with both himself and Fabio Quartararo and Jack Miller. He sustained some shoulder damage, and if you caught the replay, he did land very heavily on his shoulder, and that's an awful overtake. Apologies, I didn't actually want to go for that move, but I couldn't really get it stopped. So I guess nudging out Brad Binder was the easier option than rather trying to get it into the corner correctly. And I gotta say, this would have been an interesting weekend, wouldn't it? If Pecco Bagnaia had won, Marquez second, Enea Bastianini third. Forget Andrea Iannone, because of course that wouldn't happen in real life. If he came back after a 4-year absence and put the GP23 Ducati in fourth, then I think either Digia or Morbidelli would be getting replaced next season by Andrea Iannone. But of course that is not going to happen, and it didn't happen. So it's incredible this weekend that this would have been. If the points were like this, we'd have a totally different outlook for the final round in Barcelona, which feels weird to say, actually. Of course, Valencia, pure turmoil over there right now. If anyone is watching from anywhere in Spain or just in general, I hope everyone in Valencia is staying safe. It's horrific scenes of seeing floods and cars on top of each other, people losing their lives. It's absolutely frigging awful as I go completely wide there. Look at the state of that into the clear corner. That is a shocker. But yeah, sending out all prayers and love and care for the people of Valencia. I did see a GoFundMe donation by the Aspar team, which I've sent to donation, so I highly recommend you guys do the same. Okay, sorry Brad. I guess that was an aggressive way of forcing a donation to Valencia. But Andrea Iannone made his point rather clear. And as we now power on. Oh god, yeah, the curbs. I thought, I always forget about that. I frequently get caught up on that curb there. So eager on the brakes, trying to get it stopped into turn 15, but before then, lost all the momentum and drive. Wow! Jorge Martin fired up on the inside. We now got an investigation underway. But this would have been great for the championship. I happen to like Jorge Martin, and I'm very much a fan of Pecco Bagnaia as well. And I really don't mind who wins this World Championship this season. But what I do want is it to end in the final race with just whoever wins the race. A bit like what we had in BSB with Kyle Ryde and Tommy Bridewell. Whoever finished ahead of the other would then be world champion, and that's what I want to see. Of course, that's a national championship, so it's a British champion. But for a world championship, it's terrific. It seems all the world championships so far have been decided early. Does look pretty likely that Martin will just secure enough points anyway in the sprint to secure the championship. Well, as it stands, it is going to the final race of Barcelona. What is going well is us attacking Brad Binder, possibly around the outside here. It certainly will be when we add the ride height device, hit the brakes at the Michelin side, and take over that fourth spot. I think Brad Binder's going to be sick of the sight of Andrea Iannone at the end of this one. Of course, a quick mention as well, actually, for the Fabio Quartararo fans out there. What a race this weekend for Fabio. Really solid position. 2 top 6 places with the Japanese manufacturer. That's a top job, and I am not going to forget about Alex Rins either, also in the top 10 in the featured race. Those Yamaha boys deserve a lot of praise. Yes, this is a track that does go well with Yamaha, but considering where Yamaha have been, it's an absolutely wonderful result, and I know the Fabio Quartararo fans will be extremely pleased with how he performed this weekend in the Malaysian circuits. We do go very wide there, almost as wide as Andrea Bastianini was towards the middle stage of the Malaysian race. Across the line, that's another fastest lap time. So even with that mistake going into the clear corner, we're still very much on it to catch up to the Beast and Marquez. And how about their battle for third place in the championship? Andrea and Mark both having mistakes recently that are costing them valuable points in the championship, and keeping that battle for the bridesmaid, for the runner's runner-up, third place. You have to say, at this point, it does seem Marquez is a little bit stronger than Andrea Bastianini. But I know Anea's got a lot of fight and drive in him. Yeah, I'm talking about Andrea. You see him turn around there. So we'll see how that one goes down in Catalonia. But I've got to give the edge to Marc Marquez. It's his home track. He loves Catalonia. He's very strong there. So I would probably give him the edge for finishing in third place in the World Championship. And I am prepared to eat my words. I never once imagined that Marc Marquez would be anywhere near the top 3 of the championship this season. Of course, that was damn foolish of me, but at least I'm honest and brave enough to admit that I was wrong about the number 93. Still got a lot of drive and a lot of ride in him. Whoa! Didn't quite see an Andrea Bastianini until the last second there. I thought Andrea Iannone was going to get bumped into that right-hander, but look at that for a move! Oh! Andrea Iannone and Marquez back at it after multiple years. There's one guilty pleasure I've always had in MotoGP, and it was around 2016, 2017, maybe even earlier, to be honest. I don't think that's actually possible. When did Andrea Iannone join MotoGP? Can't think off the top of my head. But when those two used to meet each other on track, you were guaranteed excitement. Andrea Iannone and Marc Marquez from Moto2 days were always really close, and they had a good, thrilling battle and rivalry every single time they'd be anywhere near each other on track. So I used to really love seeing them go at it. Andrea Iannone was always one of those riders that never thought about, or second thought about, an overtake. He's still the same now. Look at the way he bunted Mikey van der Mark in Jerez a couple of weeks ago. He's still very much the Maniac, and always will be the Maniac. And yeah, he was absolutely brilliant in some of the battles he had with the 8 times world champion, Marc Marquez. As we now fire it on, we are getting ever so closer to the rear tyre of the... Ooh, you run it on that curb there, and it does usually result in a crash, but we got away with it there. Pecco Bagnaia, you are under pressure, my friend. He's gone wide there for the clear corner. I know you're trying to avoid the crashing like you did in the sprint, but that's a bit excessive. I think at this point he's trying to avoid Andrea Iannone, as the Maniac will go to the first position for the first time since probably, oh God knows when. Probably when he was last on the Suzuki. Whoa. See the bike snap then? That was a bit scary. But yeah, I would probably say the last time he led a race would have been on the Suzuki. Ooh. Wow. Bagnaia, aggressive as always. We've seen him respond and retaliate to Jorge Martin's right-hand overtake last season in Sepang. And then this weekend we had the exact same pleasure again. The riposte into turn 14. It was brilliant. We have seen some great racing this weekend. Celestino Vietti on the back step. Back on the top step of the Moto2 podium. Not going to say too much about the Moto2 podium really, but Jorge Navarro, wow, that was incredible. Pole position and second place on your return. Good job, Jorge. And of course, the disaster which I was trying to avoid is our British rider, Jake Dixon, not recalling the lap counter, finishing a lap early, celebrating like he took a podium, and gave up the podium to his young teammate, in the form of Ethan Guevara. That is a shocker. That is the cardinal sin in MotoGP, regardless of category. Oh wow, we're going to do the Jorge Martin movie. I got a little bit caught up in the action there because that was really building up quite nicely. Will Bagnaia respond? I think he might do. Yeah, he certainly did. Oh wow. Forgot how aggressive Bagnaia can be in this game, as Brad Binder has unfortunately ended his Malaysia Grand Prix in virtual form as well as real life form too. So I think that is a bloody good job actually. Fired our way through now on every single rider, thus meaning that's 22 riders we've overtaken in this one here today. Impressive stuff. Very, very impressive. Now, of course, whether you skip the intro or not, I don't really know. But, of course, I did show you the brand new helmet and number that SirChioXXIII has designed for us this weekend. If you're on PC and you want to replicate Andrea Iannone yourself, you can do so by searching Andrea Iannone or something similar on MotoGP 24 on PC and download Sergio's works of art. Because it's been a pleasure to pretend to be Andrea Iannone here today. Of course, you'll still have to use your custom rider, and you won't actually be able to replace Digi Antonio, but if you do your career mode, maybe then you can replace Digi that way. So there's always a way of becoming Andrea Iannone, of course. But yeah, really good solid race so far, actually. I was not expecting to be leading, let alone by a second. Might even be able to try and win here by the Pecco Bagnaia length of domination here. How crazy would it have been though Andrea Iannone walks back into MotoGP after a 4-year ban for doping and then just jumping back on the top step. It's a damn shame Andrea Iannone, of course, a lot of if, whats, buts and maybes, but let's be honest, if he just accepted his original ban, it would never have been 4 years. I think if he just accepted that he had used some substance, he would have been back in with about a year or 2 at the maximum. The next thing you know, it's 4 years and he's had to go to World Superbike, which I'm not complaining at in one way because he is great fit for World Superbike, and the riders for that independent championship is a top level riders. Danilo Petrucci, Andrea Iannone, the 2 top riders battling it out for that Ducati championship, which will probably be very similar next season as well. Team Go 11 still going at it with Andrea Iannone. And of course, oh, Marco Bezzecchi's gone. Where did he go? Is he still in it? No, he's gone. He is good. He's gone for good. Oh, he's out. He's called it quits. Well, unfortunately, Bez is not anywhere near the top 10 anymore. Of course, there is a bit of look at SirChioXXIII's helmet design, albeit briefly. Don't tend to spend much time looking behind myself in these games. Might be something you've picked up on from watching the content, but if you are new around here, don't forget to like and subscribe as well. And across the line, we are still in the 156s, but at a rather consistent pace at the moment. A differential of around 0.6, no more. I do rather fancy a 155, you know. I do think we can do it. We're still very close, and this Ducati is an absolute blast to ride. It's honestly so good. I know within our community it's a little bit biased, not biased, that's the wrong word I'm looking for, it's a bit polarising. Some riders really like the Ducatis and some are absolutely against it. I really like the Honda in the game, it wheelies like crazy, but it's fun to use, and the brakes are superb. And then we have one side, the garage, who really likes Yamaha, but I can't get on with the Yamaha too much in this game. I just don't find it's anywhere near as good as the other bikes. Of course, it's all preferences. Oh, wow, look how wide we've gone there. I'm not going to be improving the lap time on this one. That's guaranteed, as Pedro Acosta, unfortunately, has gone down. Now, there's a good battle brewing in Malaysia, of course, between Acosta and Marquez. Sadly, wasn't the Marquez we would like Pedro Acosta to be battling with, because that's the stuff of ages, isn't it? That's Marquez, the old breed, Pedro Acosta, the new breed, going at it. Be terrific. But yeah, he did have a good battle with the Marquez sibling, Alex Marquez, who had a good ride this weekend, starting on the front row. Of course, didn't quite get to the success he was last season, but had a very good ride. And I think Alex Marquez is one of those riders that's very much a circuit specialist here in MotoGP. The right circumstances, at the right track, he's in for a shout of a good position. And then on the other points and other tracks where he doesn't particularly like, he might be nowhere. So you do have to bet wisely on Alex Marquez if you're a betting man. And across the line, it's a 56 with all the fives. 156.555 for Andrea Iannone at this stage of the race. All in all, this has been a very fun video to make. It's a bit more casual for me today as well, actually. Recording the voiceover afterwards. I don't know if that's better or worse for the channel. I guess you'll have to let me know. Of course, not every video is done live, but most of them are. Well, yeah, enough about that for now. Let's continue to focus and try and improve our lap times. 2.1 seconds it is, the gap to Bagnaia. So I guess I'm at that point in the video now that I would like to know what you guys think regarding MotoGP this weekend in Malaysia. Of course, it was a great battle we've seen between Martin and Pecco, but are you disappointed that Pecco binned it in the sprint? Because it does sort of kind of ruin the excitement a bit for Barcelona now. Because, of course, if it's going to be down to the wire with a couple of points and it's all about this, it's a little bit more intense than it is when a rider's already got such a large advantage. Over the past couple of years where we've seen it decided in Valencia at the final round, it's kind of already been decided, if that makes sense. I mean, the biggest surprise ever probably would have been Valentino Rossi and Nicky Hayden. I think he was 14 points clear, then of course crashed. Nicky Hayden won the race. So, no, in fact, he didn't win the race, he won the battle for the championship is what I mean. He won the race to the championship, but not the actual final race. And of course, it happens with a lot of riders as well, where I think even in the battle between Fabio and Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin, they already have a rather large and comfortable gap before it all comes down to the final race. So I think it's going to be a little bit different this time around. I think by the sprint, we might have already have our winner, to be quite honest with you. Or it could be very close before the final curtains come down for MotoGP. And what a surprise as well, not having Valencia as the final round is... I don't think that benefits either of the riders, because Pecco, of course, has been victorious there numerous times now and won the championship on those races where he's become the champion. But for Jorge Martin, he didn't have a good race last season, of course, crashing out with a contact with Marc Marquez. So it might have actually been better in Bagnaia's favour, possibly, but can't recall the season before. How did Jorge Martin get on there? I don't really remember. It's not coming to me right now, I'm not remembering it. But I am curious to see how it's going to go down in Barcelona. I really am, and I can't wait. 2 weeks' time, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have plenty of career mode videos in the time being. So if you are looking forward to MotoGP 24 content, let me know in the comments section down below. And be sure to like and subscribe as well. That's how I know you're interested. That's how I know you want to see more of the Premier Class career mode. It's going great so far. I've got a replay for you as well from the crash in Catalonia, which red flagged our previous race. So I'm looking forward to showing you that at the start of the race in Mugello. Now this lap time is going pretty well actually. The lap time is coming. Less than 0.3 of a second away now to getting that elusive improvement. It has yielded no return for the past couple of laps now. But I am hoping I can get into the 155s. I don't know how well that is on the grand scheme of things, but I'm sure it's a decent enough lap time to be excited about. So let's keep on pushing and let's keep pursuing the 155. Pecco Bagnaia actually got a bit closer. Oh, we did a bad lap time there, 157.1. That's not ideal. That mistake into the final corner certainly cost us. Of course, also as well, let me know what you think about the battle between Marquez and Bastianini, who is going to finish in third place on the rostrum. And will David Alonso finish the season with another victory? It seems all well and good that it's basically going to go that way. It'd be another record taken away from Valentino Rossi, of course. David Alonso from the Red Bull Rookies Cup many years ago to now dominating Moto3 the battle for the second place in the championship for that is still very much alive as well. But I'm getting to the point where it's all scary stuff now, because World Superbike is finished, VSB's finished, and only one more round to go for MotoGP. That's when the fear of missing out on the greatest sport in the world ends. That's where we're going to have to take some time to play these games and really get the content going. I've got a great idea for a championship soon as well. There is an achievement for completing a championship in the championship mode here for MotoGP 24. So I am thinking, alongside the career mode videos, we set up a championship with a rider of your choice. I'll be doing a poll soonish, and we'll decide on what we're going to do. Of course, I do aim to do another season or two as well in the Premier class as well, as we go hard on the brakes. This could be the lap, you know. On lap 13, is it lucky 13 for Andrea Iannone? I think it is. It's been a rather solid lap time that across the line. It is the first 155 in this race here today is now owned by Andrea Iannone. And it also looks like Pecco Bagnaia is going to get caught up here by Marc Marquez. Has Marquez got the drive to get through on the world champion? In fact, it's the opposite. Wait, where's Bagnaia then? That must be three little silver-plated discs there in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen on the map. It's Bagnaia, Marquez and Bastianini all close together. So I guess we've got to fight on our hands for second, as we are miles ahead of the gap now. And if I haven't mentioned the difficulty already, we are actually on 120% here. I did not expect it to be this easy. I didn't plan for this. I wanted this one to be challenging. I think the last time I came here was the flag to flag with Jack Miller. And that was an adaptive difficulty, and they were just really easy, that video. Bit wide there, looking like Jorge Martin into the clear corner. But once again, we are finding time on the gap. On the delta. There's a chance we could actually get into the 55s again. Back-to-back 55s for Iannone would be nice. Of course, the big question is though, will we see the number one pinched from Ducati and slapped onto another Italian motorcycle in the form of Aprilia? And of course, how will Jorge Martin do on the Aprilia next season? We've got a lot of questions and no answers yet. You know what? That's an idea for another video. Let's chat about MotoGP in the comments section, and we'll discuss it in a video in the future. But for now, the 15th lap of 15 is underway. This is the last one. Let's see if we can improve the lap time one more time before we call it quits here in Sepang. Before Andrea Iannone moves over to Catalonia to replace Digia for the last time. Of course, Digia is only out for the 2 rounds. He has gone for shoulder surgery. And then, thankfully for him, I think it's a very smart decision from Digi Antonio actually. Miss the final 2 rounds and get healed up, ready for the winter test, because you do not want to be testing when you're injured. And I've got a track limit warning, my first one of the race. Can you believe that? My first warning in 15 laps. In career mode with the Honda, I get a long lap penalty almost every other race. And this time, with the Ducati GP23, in a circuit I'm not particularly good at, only had 1 track limit warning. And of course the other warning was contact with... was it with Marquez? I can't remember now. I bumped someone earlier on. I got a warning for it. There we go. We tackled the clear corner. That's one objective done for the final lap. Now it's just bring it home. 6 seconds clear. Bloody hell. That's a hell of a lot. That's a monumental gap. With the GP23, no less. I mean, if I've been told the GP23 is a horrendous bike. That's usually when Marquez doesn't do well, but when Marquez does well, the GP23 is... in fact, it's also bad because then people like to praise it, praise Mark for doing all the work. I never know how to feel about the GP23. There's so many conflicting statements online, but for this video, it's certainly been fine. And it's just going to be 2 Ducatis on the front row as well, with Andrea Iannone, but he's back in big fashion, the Maniac wheelies across the line, or at least tried to, as we celebrate another victory here in MotoGP. The Maniac says, I'm back. So there you are, then, guys. Thank you very much for watching the video. I sincerely hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Like and subscribe. Ciao for now. Oh, hi. Didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.